Hey guys, it's me, Darcy, joined today by Kris.
Still in a cage, just hanging a mic over.
Yes. And welcome once again to the still yet to be named podcast that is currently titled the Unnamed Podcast. And this is a very special podcast, is it not, Kris?
It is. It really is.
It is, because it is the Halloween podcast. So, you know, we've got ourselves in a particularly spooky atmosphere.
Oh yes. So spooky.
Chris went to his scary place.
Yeah.
I went to my scary place.
Post-its.
Do we need to say what those are? Should we say what they are? Let's just say what they are. You know, it's not going to hurt us if anyone knows it. For me, it was an office supply store, because everyone knows that the only thing that I'm scared of is passive-aggressive post-it notes, particularly of a yellow persuasion. And for you, that was a...
D&M.
A deep and meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
D&M.
They're a tough one.
Yeah.
We've been there, we've had that. We're good now, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah, so... It's come to the end of the week. We've been doing the Halloween special. We've done a lot of spooky filming. Pazuzu was said many a time.
Fear Turkey?
Fear Turkey was also mentioned.
You really don't.
But
I
yeah,
know.
so being that it is...
Wait, should we introduce the Fear Turkey?
the Fear Turkey is here.
It's just become something I've accepted. I'm not going to fight it anymore.
Good.
We've had the Halloween special running all week. We are coming towards the end of the week, hence the podcast.
Yes.
And, yeah, it's just been a spooky week, so we thought we'd have a spooky podcast and talk about some of the spooky things. So I guess I'll get us started.
Yeah.
As you know, I don't believe in ghosts,
They're real.
but, as I often say in Phasmophobia, in a world where ghosts are proven to be real, I'm on their side. Now,
Fair.
considering we've been playing spooky games this week, I thought I'd have a...
Is that a definite statement?
What, that I'd be on their side?
Like, no matter what?
Oh yeah, no. Ghosts are going to win because they get a new one of them every time one of us dies.
Oh, you mean in terms of, like, Battle Royale, they're going to win, you're putting all your money on the ghost? Like, that's
I'm
what
just
you mean
saying.
on their side? Not like, oh yeah, this really horrible, murdery, like, demon ghost that's torturing everyone. I think he is just and right and absolutely allowed to do this.
I'm actually
if you
going to
get
tell
rid
that
of
to
one-
him because, like, ghosts. Look, if ghosts are real, we're fucked. Okay? It's as simple as that. Because, as I said, they get a new member to their race every time one of us dies, and they're killing us. So they're kind of
I
stacked
mean,
the
it
deck.
depends where you sit on,
They've
on
stacked
what ghosts
the deck.
are.
They've stacked the deck.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so anyway, the week of spooky games has kind of made me evaluate myself.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
And I've come to the realization, I hate horror movies. I find them pointless and non-farcical.
Bit boring at times.
Do you really not get any adrenaline out of them?
No.
Oh, you're so weird.
I do like horror games though.
Yes. So do I.
And so I've been like looking and trying to figure out why. Like, why is it that two things that are like for likeness...
Interaction level.
Maybe we're getting
One
more
is
immersed into the game because
Interaction
we're
level.
controlling it.
Well, that's what I've always come down to. I prefer it when I control the person. Because then, you know, you don't end up with the horny teenage being like, oh my god, there's a murderer out there. You know, it'd be really funny if we separate ourselves from the group
And banged in a cupboard.
and went out into the forest to have sex. And it's like,
It's not a smart move.
it's not.
No, you're not wrong.
But yeah, no, they are pretty stupid in the movies. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like they did in, what was it, Scary Movie 1? She had a sign. Certain death or freedom. She
No,
went
but that's
certain death.
not a horror movie.
No, but it is what they do in horror movies. They always
No.
run towards certain
But that's
death.
because Scary Movie is
making
a
fun of them.
satire of horror movies.
Yes, it is literally making fun of them, and it's accurate. They
But-
always run towards certain death.
Well, it's like my...
I mean, for
absolute-
people who have normal reactions, that's kind of the point. It, like, amps the adrenaline because you know they're in danger.
My
And
hate
like,
bone-
don't go in the door.
My absolute hate for horror movies is always amplified by the fact that, oh no, they're in the house with me. I better run upstairs. And it's like, cool, so you've put yourself in the place where you literally have no escape from.
You jump out a
You
window,
can escape from upstairs.
but there's more likelihood of injury going out, meaning it's going to be
Depending on
easier
how
to
many
catch them.
staircases are in the house, also.
Okay, normally there's one.
Yeah.
Seriously, don't come at me with that one. And normally that staircase is right near an exit point.
Yes.
And in every situation, not just any situation, every situation, if you are being chased by someone who wants to murder you, getting out of confined spaces is generally the best idea.
Well,
It's
no,
not
I don't
wrong.
disagree with that.
But yeah, so that's what I always bring it down to. Don't get me wrong, horror games make you make stupid decisions.
You are forced to. Like in Phasma, where you have to keep going back into the house to figure it out.
Or in
Oh shit, I have no sanity.
Dark Anthology series where, you know, in the conversations you kind of have to, you've got two options and neither of them are specifically what you would want to say in that situation.
True.
But yeah, I just find it, in some games, particularly, I don't know if you've ever played Alan Wake, that's a horror-esque game.
Don't think so.
But I just feel like when you are given control so you can avoid the stupid situation or not...
You're given a choice between stupid
You
and
are.
slightly less stupid.
You're given that choice, and more importantly, when you do end up in the situation where you're in let's say, a basement being chased by someone who wants to murder you, you're actually trying to get out of it, not prolong the chase like they do in the movies. And
Yes.
because nothing annoys me more than watching someone fall over something for the 10th time, so that the threat of the serial killer who refuses to move faster than snail pace never goes away.
Jason.
And like as someone who has like literally run down a dark hallway with obstacles, they're really not that hard to avoid.
Is it Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers? They only walk.
Ghostface.
Oh, that's right, he does too.
I think he runs sometimes,
Oh,
but he's
yeah.
usually.
But that's like
But difference is Michael Myers is
the
background music
intimidation
as well.
level of I don't feel the need to chase you, like I'll just catch you anyway.
It's like in DVD. It's you being chased by Michael Myers and his music starts, so it's even worse because it's like everything else is like, oh no, I'm being chased. His, it's like, oh my god, this music, fuck off.
But like, okay, so here's my thing, right? With our Freddy Kruegers and our Jason Voorhees set aside because they're supernatural murderers.
True, yes.
The truth is, if there's a situation where one person is trying to kill you, the best idea is to stay together
Oh no, I agree with that.
and do what animals that actually live in that kind of constant life or death situation do, and like strength in the herd. The other thing that annoys me about it is like the murderer was this tiny little man with a tiny little knife, and oh yeah, he killed like 50 jocks. And it's like,
Ha.
what, did they just stand there and be like, oh no, he's coming at me with a knife, I'm not even going to try and fight back, let me turn my back so he can stab me without.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, I just go like, I don't know, I find that the decisions that they make their horror movie people
It
make
is
up.
hugely like overdone. Pushed
What
and
I
they just go too
actually
far.
do enjoy are thrillers. Something that keeps you suspense.
Psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yeah.
like I don't get me wrong, and I've said it before, the jump scare will get me. When they drop the music and you know it's coming, but then it's like, bam, there it is.
Sometimes.
Because, well, the whole thing of
You're
it,
not human.
it's designed to get you. Even if you
I believe
know
it was
it's...
in one of the things.
Even if you know it's coming, the jump scare is designed to get you.
Yeah.
Even when, like, literally some of these modern horror movies, you can literally go, okay, so the first jump scare is going to happen X minutes in. Because that's the... You know, like, it'll be the first jump scare and it'll be something like a cat. Or a this.
I mean,
or
I
a
can
that.
tell you right now, I sit there and I enjoy watching horror movies for the, like, adrenaline. And I will sit there and I know it's coming and I'm, like, under a doona or a blanket or something and I'm, like, up to my eyeballs, hiding, and I don't want to watch this, but I really, really do. And it happens, and I still squeal.
Oh, yeah.
And I can watch the same movie 10 times. I still squeal
For me,
every
the
single
jump
time.
scare... The jump scare is the cheap tactic, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, it is. Don't
Me,
get into it.
personally, I
Like
prefer
what, boy?
the long, drawn-out
Like
power of
Shutter
a thriller.
Island type.
Shutter Island is a good example. There's heaps of movies out there that are like this. I just can't think of any because honestly, I haven't actually sat down and watched a movie in a long time. I'm
all the fucking time.
Okay, so I will. Now that you mentioned, I will talk about that. I do get really annoyed with movies that like add all of these things and like ha ha ha, we're gonna keep you guessing. Then as you get to the end of it, you're like, I have no idea what's going on, and then you realise that the reason you have no idea what's going on isn't because you've missed something. It's because the people writing the movie had no idea what's going on.
They've just layered.
And then at the end, they're like,
at
the end, they're like, oh, see, it was this the whole time. And you go, no, that doesn't make sense. And it's like, no, it was this. And you're like, no, that's.
Well, it's like Lost. Lost was like, oh, what's this and what's this and what's this and what... Oh, it's not horror.
Back to Abrams, eh?
Like it's not horror, but they layered all these mysteries one on top of the other, and to try and keep people in suspense and not knowing what was going on. And then at the end, they're like, it was all a
you're
death
dead, and you're pretty much just in limbo.
Can I say that is actually a real reason that I'm glad I stopped watching Lost after season 2.
Yeah.
I never got
shortly after they found the hatch and.
No, after they met Desmond and stuff, but before Charlie died, because he was one of my favourites. But literally, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. There's polar bears, and then there's this and that, and then I stopped watching it because
it got ridiculous.
One, I stopped really watching TV then, and two, I couldn't really be bothered chasing it up to watch it. It wasn't that good. It
also wasn't like now where, I missed some.
I'll go stream.
I can go stream it. Like it was a time before streaming.
But boy, when people started going like, "Oh, Lost," that was a disappointment. I was like, "Oh, how'd it end?" And they told me, and I was like, "Wow, I'm glad I got off that train when I did."
Oh yeah.
Because when I got off the train, it was like, "Oh, we're building to something interesting," and it's like,
and then
I think in my mind, it's better that. That's where it all ended for me. We had all these questions, we were building something interesting, and not when they gave us the shitty payoff. It's another reason why I'm super glad I'm not a fan of Game of Thrones.
Fair.
I mean, yeah, they dropped the ball, but I feel that has more to do with they were like, oh, shit, suddenly we have to come up with our own ideas, and we're not good at it.
Yeah, that's an issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the other thing is, though, that I also find jump scares in games more effective because a lot of the time the actual gameplay distracts me from the point where I should be like, oh, this is a jump scare.
True.
But 100%, I would
just do it like in the Dark Anthology series. Like you literally like see if I have the controller in my hand, I'm way more susceptible to a jump scare than if it's in your hands.
And whereas the only jump scares that get me in any of the Dark Anthology pictures.
It's the one where the Aries get screamed into?
No, well, yeah, those ones. Because that's not really a scare, that's an, my fucking ear.
That's just actual pain.
More so the quick time events, because I'm like, oh shit, I have to press the button.
Yeah, so I was like, it's just something that I've thought about, and I'm like, you know what? The more I think about this, the more I actually realise that for ages, I was like, I'm not a horror fan. This is a genre that I can just ignore completely, I don't like it. But with the likes of the Dark Anthology series, even Resident Evil counts technically as a horror game. Yeah. Phasmo, and like the new era of horror games, I'm not fussed about.
Labyrinth isn't too bad. Like you're stuck in a.
What's that game that everyone's like super? It was like when horror games were first starting to come out.
Is that the one where the one where you're walking around with the camera?
Yeah, I'm not fussed for games like that because again, as it's kind of like the same with the movies. The premise, I'm kind of like, you deserve to be done this if you put yourself in that situation. Like, hey, I'm going to go to the spooky old asylum that's supposed to be doing super bad things with just a video camera. Okay, mate, you are...
an idiot.
We could call that the Darwin principle in effect, right?
Yeah.
Darwinism in effect. Whereas Resident Evil... Phasmo's kind of that first lot, isn't it? It's like, hey, we're ghost hunters, but like, let's face it, there's enough of those around as it is. Quite recently, like probably Man of Medan was the start of where I was like,
not even the one.
I'm going to play horror
before
games.
that. What's that one? The whole reason I got the PlayStation.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn wasn't too bad. I never finished it though. I got a lot of stress into a point where I was like, okay, everyone's still alive and there's only a couple acts left. I'm like, they're coming for me. Like, this game is now literally
I gave up
coming
at the
for
point where I had the controller. It was sitting on the ground, and I wasn't even touching anything. And it was like one of those don't move things. And it was like, oh, you moved the controller. I was like, I wasn't touching it. That's when I was like,
that was
nah.
an issue because that was also one of the like early games using motion control with
Yeah.
the.
So I was like, well,
which
they're just
they
going to make
didn't
me kill
have-
everyone.
They
Going
didn't
off.
have down pat.
Yeah.
Going off horror for a topic for just a second, have they removed that functionality from the PlayStation 5 controller?
No.
Because it is useless. And
They
I think
don't-
we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I don't believe they've gotten
The
rid of
swipey
it.
thing up the top? So we
No.
can-
No,
The fact that
actual moving.
it had
Oh.
it had motion tracking inside,
I believe,
which
less-
seems like a good idea, but is actually a
So
terrible
the reason
idea.
they have it is because you can still play PS4 games that have it in it. But the thing is, a lot of companies have stopped using it because they realised
It wasn't
it's
fantastic.
it's too early for it. Until it's been like mastered, we really shouldn't be doing it because it's not.
I hate to
That's
say
great.
it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with mastered. I think it was a half-assed attempt from the start. They had a
Yeah.
controller.
Especially
Literally-
when you look at...
They literally had a controller.
Yes.
And then they went, oh, we want to add motion functionality to it. But not in a way that detracts from the fact that it's a working controller.
Yes.
So you kind of end up with either a half-assed attempt, like what I feel PlayStation did, or you go down the other way where you go, this is what we want for our controller, and you end up with something like the Switch, where as an actual normal controller, the Joy-Cons are kind of useless.
Yeah, they're not great.
But for motion control stuff, they're probably one of the best.
Oh,
other
100%.
than- other than
Mastery
VR.
of maybe bringing the two together
Yeah, oh
is
yeah.
what 100% hasn't been
No, it's
done.
It's sort of like
I-
because
It was,
So
but
I
it was like
think-
a...
I think it's more of it's an idealistic viewpoint, because Switch bases a lot of its games on the fact that you control with the Joy-Con, the
Yeah.
motion of the Joy-Con. So PlayStation don't want to do that. They want their games to be able to be played like a normal game, because let's face it, if you are a serious gamer or you don't use a Switch, you generally would use a PC. But even like
they would have a Switch. So
heavy gamers,
most like heavy gamers have everything, but it's like the Switch is not something they're generally trying to get somewhere with. That is legitimately they've got it. Just like say they've
Is
got
that fun?
it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun. They've
It's
got.
a fun.
Let's say they've got like
Everyone
nieces and
loves-
nephews. They come around.
I feel like
let's
everyone
go.
enjoys the Switch because it's fun.
Yes,
It's not
and that's the thing. It's
overly
fun,
serious.
and it's kind of like I say to you, oh look, the Switch has Witcher 3.
I
No,
would
I would
never-
get that on a better console.
No, yeah,
Because of what it
100%. I would
is.
either use a straight up console or a PC, which
But it's like if you're
honestly PC would be better.
yes, it would be, but that comes with caveats. I say it all the
Yeah.
time. Don't get me wrong. I love PC,
Prefers
but console
so do I.
console is a plug and play system.
Yes,
I get a game, I know it's going to work straight away. I don't have to fiddle with any of the settings. I don't have
it is
to.
true. Yeah,
I don't have to take into account what my RAM and stuff is. It's in the console. It works, and with the modern generation of consoles, it looks fantastic. In fact, for the price of them, most modern consoles will beat a PC, because you think about a $700 PC. What are you actually getting?
Oh,
nothing.
you're getting something that is in an office using Microsoft Office.
Chris,
That is it.
let's put it this way: you'd be lucky if you can play solitaire on it.
Yes, 100%. And I can do that on my phone.
Yes, so that's why I like consoles. Don't get me wrong. The PC, I've gotten more into PC of recent, but
And I do.
I still think that there is a market for the console, and PC master race can go fuck themselves, because consoles are pure just I want to game. I think a console is better. You buy it,
Yes.
you sit it
I agree.
for the next 7 or 8 years.
And
you
a
don't have to
console is
worry
more
about anything.
adaptable.
Give me a
I
point
feel.
and click game.
Mhm.
Would fucking hate it on a console.
Mhm.
Give me a PC for that one. For
Oh,
anything,
absolutely, yeah.
But
for
see-
anything else, I'm like,
No, I'll hit you with another one that PC is better for.
Yeah.
RTS.
okay, yeah,
And anything that involves like SimCity, Civilization,
Okay, yeah, no, that's
anything
true.
that's kind of management type, I think PC is better because you've got more control.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
And
I'll
it's
give you that.
faster. Like, if I want to move from top to bottom of the screen on a console, I've got to push that stick up and it's like this, whereas in a computer, it's like a flick of the wrist.
Yeah. And, okay, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
I would say, and this is going...
I would say
people
though,
are
in
going to
terms
hate
of
it.
adaptability, though, your console's better. I agree with you with what you're saying about.
I
that
actually
stuff.
prefer first-person shooters on console.
Only downside to... Yeah, so do I. Consoles at the moment is...
Inability to get them.
Fucking love couch co-op. They've gotten rid of it too much. That's why I sort of bring a second console or my own laptop. There's not
Black
many.
Ops, I think... But that's the game industry as a whole.
I
Because the
don't-
game industry is starting to
I don't
view...
game enough to want to go out and do that, but I
The
still
game
want to be
industry...
able to play with you guys.
No, but here's the thing. The game industry, because of the likes of Jackbox,
Yes.
the advance in phones, pretty much,
Yeah.
the game industry has looked at it and gone, the only games people want to play couch co-op with now are party games.
And that is an issue.
And like
Yeah.
you think about the likes of
They need to like wake up.
Among
themselves.
Us,
The what?
Among Us, which at the start of its thing was one player, one PC. Then it became phones, and they were like, oh yeah, and that solved the problem. So they were never going to change anything there.
Yeah.
Because you can play against people on your phones
I mean, we've
with
still
your
not
PC.
played that.
It's on my
It's-
laptop.
I play it all the time.
He does. He was playing it in the car the other day.
I was playing it at the pub the other day.
That's right. It was at the pub the other day.
Trivia?
Yes.
Good lord.
That's a completely off-topic side into the game industry, but
Tangent.
back to horror.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually don't have a lot to say on horror. Although I will say I do enjoy when games give us Halloween modes.
Yes.
I've been playing the Siege one. I tried the Overwatch one. Honest opinion, not as good as the Siege one. Very long.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that I had to play a tank, even though I don't play a tank.
I'm trying to in Overwatch get over all of them. I've got to find a tank I'm good with, and I'm just not. I'm
Well,
okay
I've-
with support. I'm okay with Mercy and Zenyatta.
Okay.
That's about it.
I have lockdown support. Again, Mercy,
Yeah.
but I can't remember his name. But the guy I want to get the funky skin for.
Jeffrey.
The one that annoys the shit out of me.
The one that throws down the immortality beam.
And can kill me quicker than I can kill him.
This is that game I made you sit and go
Bullshit.
through all the costumes with, huh?
You know.
You're right.
Like that
Damage?
that is bullshit.
Damage, I've got Ash, and I want to learn... I can't remember his
Santa.
name. Cowboy.
Cassidy.
Cassidy. I want to learn him, or Reaper, I think, as my second
Well, I'm
damage
down
dealer.
with Junkrat, Genji, Reaper are my main three. It really depends on what's happening. If I'm in a point where it's like, okay, because my go-to is Junkrat. If he's not working, it's like, shit, I'm either going to need Genji or Reaper. And depending on what type of game it is, depending on which one you should go with.
But then tank-wise, I want to learn Diva and Reinhardt. Again, my problem is that I would need
I
to
don't
play.
know.
I would need to play with a team of 5 people that I knew to practice playing a tank because it's a role that I think you don't want to
See,
practice.
the thing about...
You don't want to practice tanking with a bunch of people who are just sour internet people because if you fuck up, they're going to be pissed.
The thing about tank
So
is I don't think tank should be learned as I'm learning this tank and that's the only tank I'm learning. The tank you learn, I find, should be learned based on what game mode you're playing. Because as much as you learn Diva, she's absolutely useless in some game modes.
So I want Diva and Reinhardt because I feel like that's a good...
They are too...
Split.
That'll get you over
They're
pretty
just,
much everything.
They're just opposing because
Because
Diva is more of an attacking tank. She does have a bit of damage mitigation, whereas Reinhardt is purely a defensive tank.
And when you're doing stuff like you've got to defend the point so that they don't start moving the thing, Reinhardt's fan-fucking-tastic.
Or if you want to be moving that thing, he's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's it. So, like, last time I
But
did that
def-
with
but
this team,
defending up-
we decimated. Like,
But
they couldn't
capturing the
move.
point, I think Diva would be better than Reinhardt because of her ability to use range. And
Yeah.
I feel when you know they're coming for a point and they've got multiple ways to attack it, that one big shield just isn't going to cut it.
No, it is right. So, there
But
are...
yeah, no, as I
It's
said,
been a
that's...
very specific conversation.
No, I'm just talking about Overwatch.
Yeah.
And the fact that I do, as I said, having played both of their Halloween games, I think the Siege one was better this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you did see that one. Because it was just, like, the Siege one was just a good old-fashioned game of hide and seek.
Yeah, effectively.
With powers.
Yes.
Short, quick, fast. You play around, you're done.
Yep. Yeah,
Whereas last night we actually did have a look at the Overwatch one, and I played that for a very long time, and honestly, yeah, it wasn't great. Especially considering I was playing a character I didn't know, with a loadout I don't really understand, in a role I don't get.
Yeah, I've started looking at Junker Queen.
Roll out your Wastelanders pack.
May as well stick with the Wastelanders pack, because I do use Roadhog occasionally, and it's like...
Ugh, Roadhog. Did we complain about Roadhog enough last podcast?
We
Probably.
did. And 100% when I played Roadhog last, every time I got a DPS character, hook and shoot, I fucking died.
Okay, so that was just our practice, or we suck. Apparently, either the practice range is wrong, or we suck when it's not real people.
It sounds something like that.
Anyway, that's enough on Overwatch, because we have
discussed it already.
We've been into it to death, and we'll come back to it, because as I said, I am starting to play it.
I've been doing a bit of competitive recently, because we do sort of half have a team.
Yeah, but you're playing PlayStation, so you're losers.
No, it's cross-console, actually. It's a
love
console pool. So it's now, there's a console pool and a PC pool.
Okay.
So you actually just get put in with console people. I don't know if you can join a team cross-console, as in, like, I have 4 players, and then, like, we can add Darcy. I don't know if we can do that. I haven't tried.
I can do that? Halo Infinite.
True.
Which is a game
I did ask to play Halo with him.
Yeah,
he wants to record it with me.
That's no. That's your own fault, because you're like,
a lot.
I want to do this with you, and I go, okay, and then you're like, oh, you never came and got me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to come and get you.
No. To be fair,
This is something you want to do. I don't want to do it.
I was like, can we do it? And he was like, and I was like, okay, cool.
I don't
and
want
then
to do
I was
it,
like,
yeah, no, because me and some of my friends from Sydney have been playing Halo. I would say a lot, but considering last time we played it,
that's PC to Xbox, isn't it?
That's PC Xbox.
I would understand that would be easier, because they're both Microsoft, and you can sort of link Microsoft accounts and then join that way. I think it's going to be a bit harder to do it from PlayStation to
Here's your
Xbox. I'm not sure.
Here's your thing. First of all, Blizzard is now on Microsoft.
It is.
Secondly, you technically play Overwatch through your Blizzard account, so it really shouldn't matter what console you're on.
No, it shouldn't.
Because you have to use an account.
Because I know every time I go and actually start
because
a game, it comes up top saying console pool.
You've literally used your stuff that would be on your PlayStation on my Xbox.
Yes, because it's just a Blizzard account. Yeah.
Exactly. So therefore, if you can do that, you would think having people playing would be no big deal.
That is true. I haven't tried it out, because it's the thing. We have a team of, I think 4 is the best we've got. We've always had to just go with one random, which isn't too bad, because they sort of just stick with us.
Yeah.
Which 100% lost its spookiness.
Worked out well.
What else can we say about horror? Actually, we can talk about horror, because there was something promised.
I don't remember.
But it's not existing.
Yes.
But before we go any further on to that subject, I do want to put out there that I need to get you back on Siege.
Yeah, probably.
And probably Halo Infinite, just because Halo Infinite's a lot of fun.
You know what I need to do? Play with my Xbox.
More importantly, I need another person for when I'm playing Halo Infinite. Because when I'm playing it with my friends, it's not too bad. But because I got Shanty, but when I'm playing it like by myself, God, do I get sore shoulders?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
What?
It's carrying the team.
Should I move over so Rigo has a chair?
Yeah, you can sit on the ground.
Fuck you!
You know, if you want to bring that chair over and just move over, his ego fits nicely in that one.
His ego needs the big lounge chair.
It does.
I'm joking. Clear that room out. Oh, it's still not big enough for my ego.
That's a good point.
Fair.
Oh, and
but to be fair,
but that means my soul has to move.
Your soul, my ego would crush your soul.
Good point.
It does daily anyway.
No, it doesn't.
To be fair, I am very good at Halo.
I mean,
No, he's
you're
pretty
not wrong. You,
I, however, not so good at Halo.
My
I will
30
practice.
my 34 kills and 2 deaths would say otherwise.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Um,
Hey, I've gotten that in Overwatch. Except it was one kill. One death, sorry.
I've gotten that in Overwatch, except it was 1 kill and 1 death.
No, I got like 35 kills,
Dude,
I think.
For me, in Overwatch, when I'm actually playing the character that I like the best, which is Mercy, just having a no death run is my favourite.
Oh, that is great. It is great.
But,
Just
you know,
like,
we need to get you back into Siege because I kind of want to get back into that.
so that
but-
game we saw last
I
night with
can't.
Mercy with 17 kills. And
yeah, that was annoying.
She was higher than most of the other players on the team, and it's like, a support character shouldn't be able to do better than the
It's just
3 other
back to the
DPS.
same place.
More important,
Nice.
no support player should be like, I'm going to go out and kill other players. But yeah, as I said, get you back into Siege because I want to start playing that as a team.
Fair.
And, okay, I think we've talked about games. Now let's talk back about some spooky stuff. And as promised, I'm going to explain to Samantha why ghosts do not exist.
Except that I've seen them.
Again, what did we say last night? That they were seeing
Unreliable.
No, what did we say last night?
Oh,
that...
they won't see it.
No, but the video's gone.
No, they won't see it.
Hmm.
I think that was
That was like
the first
during
take.
the world of fucking around.
It might be in that. I haven't. I don't know, but
I hope it's in there.
there was a lot of audio that was cut.
Oh, the whole thing about you taking heroin.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that was in there.
Oh, good.
That's it.
Have never, will never. I will say this every day. I have never, will never
That's
take
100%
heroin.
in there because that was at a point that was way
That was
past.
when you both. He was talking about the heroin being on fire, and he both looked at me, and it was
No, that was when I said you could smoke heroin there,
And then
make
you
it out
questioned whether...
with the umbrella, and then I went wait,
Do you?
Do you
And
smoke
then we
heroin?
both turned and looked at
and then I looked at Kris, and Kris went, I don't know, I had heroin, and then we were like,
Yes.
I have not either. I just
no,
knew
but
some real dodgy people.
guys, don't go inhaling heroin dust. Is that a thing? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not a great idea.
It's not. It's really.
Mister, I'm a man of the world. Is that a thing?
You know what? I'm actually not going to argue with that because I'm actually really happy that I don't know much about using heroin.
It's a good
But
point.
like, it's just like, how do you?
Samantha, it's not cocaine, okay? It's a very harmful substance. Everyone knows cocaine is just for businessmen and fun.
Oh my god!
Actually, that's true. It's not just for businessmen and fun. It also used to be a vital part for Coca-Cola,
Oh, it
the
did?
world's most popular drink.
Party girls like it too.
I'm pretty sure they fit into the fun category.
Oh
Yeah,
my god!
ghosts,
You're
ghosts.
so mean.
I said, and I say it all the time, I do
I'm
not
not.
believe in ghosts or zombies or other spooky things. I do believe
Demons?
in mummies.
But mummies are real.
Exactly.
They
That's
are.
why I believe in them.
Like you don't like.
It's just they're generally not reanimated.
That would
Does
technically
that mean
be a
that all
zombie.
mummies are zombies?
Yes, that's what I was like.
Technicality, yes.
Yes, mummies are
Except
zombies.
they are, except
They don't want to eat brains. They're
Yes.
like a different species of zombie.
Yeah, because they've sort of had everything taken out of
I just don't believe in werewolves, vampires, or demons
However, he does believe in evil.
and Ewoks.
Oh, good lord.
No, I
those
don't
little
believe.
fuckers.
I don't believe in Ewoks, and we're lucky that they also don't
But
exist.
they're so cuddly.
No, they're not. They're vicious monsters that would eat you.
Cuddly.
They would 100%.
Cuddly teddy bear people.
They are 70 kilos of pure muscle and rage.
Cuddly teddy bear people.
Yeah, they'll
I mean,
cuddle
we
you
took
while
we took
stabbing you with a
100%
fucking
different
spear.
things from those Star Wars scenes, hey? Because I, as a girl,
Yeah,
I was
someone
like,
seems to have forgotten they wanted to eat Han and Luke.
The only
yeah, but
reason
they
didn't
didn't.
was because of
Yeah, but they
C-3PO.
did to all the stormtroopers they killed.
The
That is true.
stormtroopers were bad.
Well.
To them, it didn't mean shit. They were going to eat all of them. The only reason they didn't eat Han and Leia was because of C-3PO.
No,
Yeah,
they're going to
but-
eat Leia because she was their friend.
Oh yeah, good point.
It
Sorry,
was
yeah.
Luke
Yes.
Also,
and Chewbacca.
Yes.
they didn't eat them,
Because of
and then they
C-3PO.
helped them, and they're cuddly little teddy bear men.
Okay, Samantha.
They cuddled
Samantha.
Leia.
Samantha, you have to get this through your head. The Ewoks cannot, for the woes of the rebels and the Galactic Empire.
They were hungry.
It
There
has
was food.
the Galactic Empire never fussed them. However, free food that's just walking around your forest, good.
Yes.
Yeah, but also
Good.
cuddly teddy bear men.
You say that. But
I mean,
Now,
they
that
cuddled-
would be a good
They
horror
cuddled
movie.
Leia.
They-
and
Someone
it looked like the
accidentally walking
snuggliest
through
cuddle.
that forest.
It looked like the snuggliest
Good horror
cuddle
movie.
on the planet.
Great
That'd be
game as
great.
well.
They have that.
Survival game. That's
It's called Star
no,
Wars Battlefront 2.
no, but
Ewok Hunt.
but I mean someone like going exploring, like as a group camping sort of thing, and then Ewoks.
Chris, that's not a game.
That's
Because
just drop
everyone
this.
dies at the first night.
It's true. It's true. No, but
There's
it's,
no survival.
no, but the game becomes like who can survive the longest.
Who can survive the longest? Okay, so the game starts now. Whoever lasts longer than the first 30 seconds
Oh,
wins.
everyone's dead.
Pretty much.
Um,
They're quick games.
they're quick. Get in, you're out. Get in, you're out.
I mean, I'm just saying, the cuddle with Leia looked real snuggly. And from a girl's point of view, I was all about the little teddy bear men. To this day,
Vicious little
adorable
monsters.
teddy bears that walked and talked.
Murderous monsters that did neither walk nor talk. They leapt and they growled.
They really did.
They definitely didn't talk.
And they were generally running because they couldn't keep up otherwise.
I will say, their running was pathetic.
Oh,
It's adorable.
You're not looking at 3 Ewoks running towards you and going, I'm about to die. You're looking and going, they're so incompetent.
look at that shit.
They're so cute,
Which is going to be a
though.
massive shock for you when they get there and then rip your arms off.
But they're so
yeah.
cute.
Like, seriously.
Which is why
So
you're
cute.
the first to die because you're going to want to cuddle them as
Oh,
they rip
absolutely.
your arms
Yeah,
off.
okay, alright, I'm dying. But I'm dying a death of, like, adorableness, so it's fine.
No, you're
Oh,
not.
no.
It's very vicious and painful.
I'm being murdered by adorable. I'd rather adorable than scary
Oh my
because I'm
God.
gonna be like, "Aww," and then die, not "ah," and then die.
You just can't talk sense into it.
No, you can't. And also, she's bringing up a very good point. Ewoks try and hide what they're all about.
True.
At least Freddy Krueger lets you know from the second you see him, that guy's going to murder me.
Yep.
Yeah, you know his game. Ewoks, they're like,
Like
Oh,
if I'm gonna
oh,
die
guys.
though, and I have to choose between "aw," dead, and "ah," terrified, dead.
I
I'm
know.
going with adorable, then dead.
I don't know, Freddy Krueger, you die.
no,
in your
because
sleep.
you're thinking you're thinking about it wrong. You're thinking, adorable. Dead is going to come as they start clawing their way through you.
At least
they
with Freddy
make
Krueger, you're
traps.
dying.
This is my imaginary death, and that's how it happened.
At least with
Well,
Freddy
it's
Krueger,
not your
you're
imaginary
dying.
death because you don't know the facts. Ewoks make traps, horrible traps, so that
Yes.
they can kill you and then cook you alive.
Yes. Well, no, because if they kill you, they can't cook you alive.
No, but remember, the traps either kill, like all those poor stormtroopers who got smushed.
Stop saying poor stormtroopers. Stormtroopers were bad.
Getting smushed is
They
a terrible
weren't
way to
really
die.
that bad.
Still bad.
Okay, so technically a stormtrooper is just following orders. They're not 100% bad.
More importantly, here is something you need to remember.
Stormtroopers were by
When-
themselves a lot. They could have left.
When we watch Star Wars, we watch it from a very pro-rebel eye set.
It is true.
We've gone on a very long tangent.
But what you need to remember is to the average person in the Empire, the rebels were nothing but terrorists who kept blowing up infrastructure
It is true.
and shooting the soldiers that were supposed to keep them safe
Also true.
and blowing up large things that cost a lot of money.
All their tax.
Yes. See, you don't
I need to
understand.
rewatch Star Wars.
You don't understand it. Okay,
Cool,
so
Marshall
she's never being invited to a podcast again because she's an idiot. Just because you're part of the Empire doesn't mean you're a bad person. I do apologise for this.
But anyway, back to the horror thing.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that tangent of.
And you should feel bad about it.
I,
Yeah, so spooky stuff, eh?
you were gonna tell me why ghosts aren't real.
Oh yeah, ghosts aren't real. Basically, it's a really simple equation, right?
No.
How many living things have there been on this planet?
Oh, too many to count.
Thank you. If ghosts were real, there would be billions of them. Like, literally billions. Every terrible person that has ever lived would be a ghost.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think they're all bad? There
No,
there's
here's
many like
the
bad
problem,
ghost
though.
stories.
Here's the problem.
Casper?
I'm sorry.
Casper's a
Alright,
friendly
alright,
ghost.
I'm sorry.
He's a
I'm
friendly ghost.
sorry.
So that is... Now, that is only taking into consideration humans.
And then you look at the children deaths.
Children death.
There are so many child ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Children wouldn't have...
Children are considered to be innocent for one, in most cases.
More importantly, how many children can actually build up?
And like trauma is supposed to leave the
See,
impact
okay,
behind.
so
now we've added something else.
Now we've added... Okay, you would not be able to walk around the eastern half of French without... French. You would not be able to walk around the eastern half of French without seeing millions of ghosts because a lot of people
But
died
some
of
people
trauma
say
there.
they do.
She's pretty much
Be
nailed
open
it.
to it.
The only people that can see ghosts are people who are open to seeing ghosts. Right?
Okay, yeah.
That is a big issue in itself.
I mean, I don't believe that because when I think that I first saw ghosts, I didn't believe in ghosts back then.
Yes. But you go into those places and the stories that people tell you about those places front load you so that the first time something happened, you go ghost.
I mean...
Let's get on to the second point, because she can keep talking about this for
Anyway.
ages, and there's no real point because
No, it's
the same with any ghost. But there would be hundreds of thousands of ghosts pretty much everywhere. That's not even including the ghosts of other living beings.
okay, yes. However, yeah, I don't know. I'm of the thing that what we are and what makes us us doesn't just disappear.
That's called being a dreamer. Thing is, and this it's a very important fact, is the people that tend to see ghosts are the people who want to see ghosts.
Didn't
Just like the people that tend to see Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster are the people who want to see Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
It's true.
You have to accept that.
Okay, yes.
Can we also add in the fact that the human brain is a terrible witness?
It is.
I mean, yes.
As
You have your
ghosts
own
don't
opinion.
exist.
You can try to convince me, but if I can pinpoint ways that I can think that, no, you're not going to convince me, I'm still not going
And
to turn
that's
around and say
fine,
you're
like-
wrong.
Say that you
I
saw a
will.
ghost.
I will probably always believe what I think I saw because I saw it. I believe what I saw. If someone was like to me, "No, you saw it because this," and they could recreate that situation for me and prove that it was because of this play of light or this happened, I'd be like, "Okay, cool. So yeah, I understand now why I thought I saw that." Someone wants to take me out and recreate it and prove to me it's not real? Cool.
I'm sorry. I just looked at Darcy's little picture and I was like, that's exactly what's happening right now.
I know.
Yeah, it's
But, okay, I'd be open
but
to being
would
like,
you or would
okay.
you do what you've done for the last 10 minutes and just double down on it and say, but you can't prove that it's not? Because even if it's similar, it's not exactly that.
If they could explain it away with an actual scientific explanation, I would be open to being like, okay, cool, so that's more probable of what happened. However,
A challenge, Chris. Break out your science muscles.
I mean, not to do that again.
however, I
Break out your
saw what I
science
saw.
muscles, get your lab coat, and some glass beakers.
Jesus Christ.
We're going to the gym.
Do we have a lab coat yet?
No.
Shit. Okay, so we're going to have to...
I had a lab coat. I didn't need one, I just got one.
What'd you do with it? It's a perfect reason to use it now.
Okay, well, I may. But I can't. I may have set it on fire.
I mean, that's logical, though. I can understand that one. Fair
You
enough.
understand setting it on fire.
Yes.
Safety testing. Safety
It's a
testing.
lab coat.
That's not... Oh, God.
Lab coat is what you're doing testing with. He was doing a test.
Anyway, I would be open
If I
to
wear
it.
this, am I
You
fired?
prove it to me, I'll be open to the idea.
Okay, Chris.
There's a reason they say seeing is believing.
Bust out your science muscles.
Which is just...
Lab coats.
just
Glass beakers. We hit the gym for 4 days straight. Then we science this bitch.
I don't know how well I'm going to do with hitting the gym for 5 days straight. 4
Is
days.
it
I said 4.
4. You did?
Because everyone knows, and this is a fact, scientists be buff. And if we're going to do science, we
need to
better
buff.
be some buff-ass scientists.
We do. We're going to do this. Might
Buff
take longer than
science.
4
I mean-
days, though.
I mean, you prove it to me, I'll be open to you proving it
Oh,
to me.
wait. The only way it's going to take less than 5 days, you're going to need some steroids.
Ah, build up the roid rage.
Now who's doing drugs?
Samantha, can you hook us up with some steroids?
No!
Damn.
What about
God
Rocks.
damn it!
What about human growth hormone?
No! Just on the thing. Even if you ever actually saw something that another person would consider a ghost, would you even believe it? Or would you just straight up be like, nah, it never happened? But you would like, are you even open to the possibility of there's a possibility that maybe one day you might see something you can't explain that you would attribute to something
Samantha, I am
paranormal?
of the possibility that I see shit every day that I can't explain. I live in Rockhampton.
No, that you, okay. It's okay.
That's a good point.
Outside of that,
Okay,
And-
guys, here's my promise to you. even though you haven't heard half her tirades, if we made $2 million, me, Samantha, and Kris will do an actual ghost hunt.
If we make $2 million.
She will see ghosts, yes. We will film the whole thing. Kris will have 10 cameras stuck to his head. Heavy ones. That's a promise.
Better start training the neck.
Yes.
Oh dear God.
And your lungs. And we will go to a haunted
Good
place in Australia, or if we get $2 million, maybe somewhere else. Maybe India. Everyone want to go to India? We will find a haunted place in India.
I mean, like, can we go somewhere that has like more history, please?
Okay, Samantha's uncultured and I apologise for her.
No, like more history that we know about. Somewhere that I would actually be susceptible to think I see something, if that's what your plan is.
But I think the idea is going to a place that you're not very susceptible.
We'll go to Iceland. No, Finland. Kris will have 10 cameras. I'll be sensible and bring one. Samantha can have 50 because that way we capture everything she sees.
Everything.
So therefore, when she says, I see a ghost, we will actually have proof if it was just her brain or actually something there.
If you can prove it's my brain, like I said, I'm open to proving it's just my brain.
And we will do
brain
that.
tricks on me.
So that is a Halloween promise. $2 million. Looking at you, Nick and Lucan.
Come on, help us out.
You can write the check out to Darcy for ghost hunting.
Thank you.
But anyway, back to something that is more within our realms of the topics we normally talk about.
Yeah.
Video games, Kris.
Yes.
Are there any scary video games that you are looking forward to?
Looking forward to? I haven't actually looked at any new ones coming out, to be honest.
That's cool.
Ones that are already out, I've mentioned.
Did you just call him a disappointment?
Constantly.
It always does.
A-hole. I actually have somewhere I have to
It
go.
is
It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to leave you so you don't have to cut out any more of my ranting.
Nice.
You're welcome.
So I've talked about Labyrinth for a bit. You're kind of stuck in a labyrinth, and there are monsters trying to chase you. You have to figure out how to get out.
So it's like a maze. Well, it's
There was one that came out.
Maze Runner.
I can't even remember what it was
weird.
called, but it was.
Alright, I gotta go. I've got something to say.
No.
It was sort of in that kind of like the Dark Pictures anthology.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but it was like, it's right. I can see the picture. It was pretty much set in like
I'm not sure, because the only ones I know of like that are Until Dawn and The Quarry. They're the
might be the Quarry.
The Quarry, which is made by these guys as well.
The Quarry. I actually, you know what? It's just come out, but
Quarry's been out for a while.
There is a new Dark anthology.
Which is?
The Devil in Me.
Oh, that's right, yes.
And you know what? I am looking forward to playing that.
Well,
yeah,
yes.
it's The Quarry.
Oh, yeah.
The Quarry was the one that I was thinking of. That's legitimately what I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah, made by the same people. So
yeah, well, yeah, as I said, I've never been into horror movies.
I generally walk out because I'm bored.
They're just too much, and like they're either too schlocky,
yeah,
or they go for the exact opposite of that, which is, oh, we've got shit everything, but hey, let's chuck in a lot of gore. And
yeah.
And I love gratuitous violence, you know me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That being said, like I don't know. There's just something about like the overload that I'm like, it's either done really funnily, like The Evil Dead.
Yes. I do enjoy The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead is a good series.
It is.
And I enjoy it. But I feel that's like a horror comedy.
Oh, it 100%
like,
is. If you call it anything else,
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a horror comedy.
Yeah.
So I feel like horror and comedy I enjoy.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, we're making fun of this.
Which is why I enjoy them as well. And why I can sit through more of them. It's like, a lot of them is like, I've watched some of the classics and I'm sitting through, like, I watched... Holy shit, how have I forgotten the name for this already?
Explain it. Explain the premise.
I'm just going to say one line.
Yep.
Here's Johnny.
Oh. Are you talking about The Shining?
That's... Yes. I don't know
Johnny.
why the fuck I forgot. I watched it only like a couple months ago, And to be honest, that was the first time I watched it. I don't know why I'd never watched it before. It just dragged way too much. As much as I could sit there watching it, it was that thing of like, because I was talking to someone else about it, and we were sitting there, and we were like, "Hey, we'll watch this. We haven't watched it before."
Yeah.
And so we sat down, put it on, and she turned around halfway through, and she's like, "I didn't realise that it dragged this much." So she ended up sitting on her phone for most of it.
Do
which
you
is
ever
fair,
feel? Because I think The Shining, there's supposed to be a psychological aspect to it.
Yes,
where
that
you're not
true.
really sure what's going on or what's so I think there's that, and it's like trying to build that because like if you really think about it, I think The Shining is more of a psychological long game,
Yeah, I completely understand that.
because I'm literally running through a head of the people that die in it, and it's like I can only think of 2.
pretty well. I'm pretty sure it's only 2.
Yeah.
But like again, I watched the whole thing, and by the end of it, I'm like, I can see why it draws some people to it, but it's just not. It wasn't for me. And then like when I was talking to her after, she's realised afterwards, okay, it wasn't really a movie for her either. So I was like,
Yeah.
as much as when she was younger, she watched it and it was absolutely fine. Because I went through a point where I was like, I'm going to watch some of the older horror thriller type movies, and I'm like, I'll watch Child's Play. And I know I watched it when I was younger, and I was like, it got to me a little bit when I was younger, but now I'm like, the fuck, how did this get to me? Like this wasn't really much, and then
Look, as I said, man, I'm not big for the horror genre. One, because I'm like, they're either really, really schlocky, and you're just kind of like, right,
yeah,
or they're try to make up for their lack of everything with just violence overload,
true,
or they're just not very good.
yeah, and that's the problem.
And my problem is, because you obviously know me, especially when something's like put forwards as a mystery. It's like, ooh, who's killing these people, or who's behind the scream mask, or ooh, what is this unknown monster? It's like, let's figure it out. And then when you hit something that doesn't quite make sense, the second that a horror movie, especially one where it's like trying to build up the tension, has like a massive hole where it's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know those ones where it's like, oh, the killer was killing this person, then the person who was killing them, because it's a human slasher, somehow got all the way across town in like a second, and you're like, wait, what? It's like, oh yeah, no, this person was the killer the whole time. It's like, no, but well, they were they were killing that person while having a conversation with this person. That doesn't make sense. That fucking does my head in, because I'm like,
yeah,
it feels like one of the easiest things to fix. Like, just don't have it, but it's because they're trying to be cleverer than you, and when they try and be cleverer than you, it doesn't work. It annoys the fuck out of me.
I agree.
But as I said, like, video games I think it's just a completely different thing, because like,
I think it's more effective on like a psychological level than a movie. And as I said earlier, it's because you're far more immersed in it. That like because you're controlling it, so you're, especially if it's in a first person view, you can feel like you're a bit more in the game, especially if you're playing VR as well.
oh, absolutely,
Absolutely. And
but I just feel like, but the thing is, like, and because video games can play the same tricks on us, we have played some that have played those types of tricks on you. Where it's used the medium to kind of pretty much prove that you can't trust everything you're seeing.
Yes.
So we can't believe everything we're seeing. But even then, the story still has to make sense. Even if you can't believe everything that you're being shown, the story still has to make sense. Otherwise, the payoff's not as good. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I feel a lot of horror movies get me in the end, because it's like the payoff's not good. A horror movie that I watched was, I can't remember what Friday the 13th it was.
So is it the most recent one?
I don't know if it's the most recent one, but it was pretty damn recent. Let me just look up him. Jared Padalecki. Movies and TV shows. Okay, it's just called Friday the 13th. Yeah, so it was just Friday the 13th, 2009.
Okay, which isn't the most recent.
It's not the most recent one, but yeah, I saw it like years ago, but it was the last of the Friday 13th that I saw. I get that you had to. Jason Voorhees to have Friday the 13th because at this point I'm like, oh, it's the whole supernatural bad guys like Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, who actually has a massive weakness that I bet you're not aware of. Ninjas.
Elaborate?
There's a video game of Nightmare on Elm Street where you can become a dream warrior.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact game, but like it was on Outside Xbox. So they were doing one of their lists.
Yes.
And literally talked about the fact that in this game where you're supposed to collect bones and throw them in the fire to stop Freddy Krueger chasing you, that there is a form that you can take, a Dream Warrior form that's a ninja, and he can just like kick Freddy's ass. So...
Okay.
That's, I suppose what I'm saying is if you are having a dream with Freddy Krueger in it, be a ninja.
Yeah.
He's weak against them. But yeah, so like my problem with them is that like the second you start dealing with monstrous villains, like okay, that gives you fun because they're like ha ha ha, nothing can stop them. They literally become a menace.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're kind of like, okay, why am I even watching this? I know how nothing can stop them. And that's what I got in that Jared Padalecki Friday the 13th from 2009.
Okay, yeah.
Like, at one point, he's, like, beating up Jason, he wraps a chain around him, he's doing stuff, and then at the end, Jason comes back, and you're like, cool, right.
Nice.
It's like, what is the point? Like, what is the point? Why did you even waste time filming a heroic battle scene? Because everyone watching it, especially in 2009, at Friday the 13th, just called Friday the 13th, because we'd already done, up to Friday the 13th in space, Jason 10, whatever.
Some of that, yeah.
We were up to so many points that no one went into that going, this guy could actually beat Jason. This could be it.
Yeah.
No one's going into that thinking that. Everyone was going in going like, okay, who's going to be the final girl? Who's making it out alive?
Pretty much.
And I get that people find that fun, being like, oh, who's going to make it out alive? Let's try and guess. But I just kind of like, doesn't matter.
Not really.
Although I will say I did enjoy Cabin in the Woods.
That was right. Yeah.
But again, that was... It wasn't a comedy, but it was definitely a satire.
I mean, it became a bit comedic at the end.
Okay, well, it was pretty... there were comedy aspects, but it wasn't like ha-ha funny.
No.
There was no boomstick.
A good point, no, there was no boomstick.
Horror movies where they go, oh, we're going to make it... Okay, I know I just trailed off halfway through the sentence there, but I just thought about the excellent, most perfect situation of this all. Halloween.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Who is supposed to just be a man.
Yes.
That guy has taken more bullets than I don't know, and has come through A-okay.
Yes.
Now, he's not even supposed to be an unknowable magic monster. He's literally just supposed to be a creepy guy.
Yes.
Do you see my issue with horror movies?
Yeah,
It's kind of like you either have to go for a monster that just can't be beaten, and that's why it can't be beaten in the modern era, which takes all the tension out of it, because it's kind of just like, okay, so the only way you're surviving is if he decides, nah, you get to live.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or you end up with your Michael Myers, who are like, nah, he's just a dude. He also can't die. Because, like, the thing is, right, and I stand by this, okay? People like Ghostface.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Ghostface is pretty scary. He's got his wicked knife, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna stab you. And you go, okay, don't stab me. But then, like, you grab, I don't know, like, a baseball bat or something, and you're like, I've got leverage. Like, it's just a dude. You can fight back against a dude.
Yeah.
No one ever fights back against the dude.
No, they just run.
They're just like, oh no, I'm gonna run, and then I'm gonna fall over, and then I'm gonna get stabbed. It's like...
All they need to do is accidentally think, we'll add someone with martial arts training. It's like, okay, they've won. They've been trained to fight against someone with knives.
there are literally situations like that, and you just go, oh. Like, oh, yeah, this guy's a fighter. It's like, oh, he got taken out like a bitch. It's like, oh, but he got him by surprise. And it's like...
Like, even when they go to the kitchen, they grab a knife and their hands are shaking and say, oh, no, and then they fucking run anyway. It's like, you're on the same playing field here. He has a knife, you have a knife.
Never been to Knife Fight Island. That's why.
True. He probably trained there.
He actually did. I met him there. He was a nice guy.
Sweet.
Except for all the stabbing.
Well, of course, yeah. It's a bit rough.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, there are points where it's like, you're up against a normal person. Your reaction is to run. And you go, okay. But when that doesn't work.
Yes.
It's like, in horror movies, people's reactions tend to get them killed.
Yes.
And like I can't think of a specific movie, but I can think of a trope. Tell me if you've ever seen it. The person runs away from the killer and then gets hit by a fucking car. And that's what kills them.
Yep, that's a common one.
And I'm like, okay, I get it, because it's like, the killer didn't kill them, it was the car that killed them. And it's like, okay, right. I do have issues with that. Like, especially considering most of this stuff happens at night and car headlights are very visible. Trust me, yes. I've done a lot of highway driving recently. You can see them bitches from a motherfucking long way away. So you ain't just running out in front of one of them.
No.
Secondly, I guess it's just kind of like, if you tried running away once and it didn't work, so you tried running away a second time and it didn't work, and then you tried running away a third time and it didn't work, maybe the fourth time, instead of trying to run away, you take a different stance.
Yeah. Obviously, your fight or flight reaction, your flight reaction, isn't working.
Yeah.
Maybe you should attempt the fight.
Yeah, and like that's what I said. Like, that's the unkillable monster, which are like.
And here's the thing: if you make it to day, if you make it to daytime, go to the fucking hardware store, get something a bit longer. So when they come at you with a knife, you have a fucking pole.
You have an axe.
You have an axe. You have
You're
something.
You're the axe murderer.
So you have something that is longer than their arm plus a knife. You've got now your arm plus this extension. If you've got a baseball bat, here's another thing you could do. Aim for their hands.
Yep.
Because if you hit their hands, you're going to break them.
Yeah.
Now here's the next thing.
Don't use a sledgehammer.
Will they go to the hospital the next day to get anything done with it? And if they do, one, they're fucking stupid. Because now they can tell the cops, hey, I broke his hands.
It's true.
So now they're going to go around to every hospital and like, has someone come in with broken hands?
And if they're really good, they'll go to the vet surgeries as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
call me if you're being chased by a killer. I'll probably find him. No promises.
Call me. I'll come around. Stab.
Yeah, call me. I'll be there to kill you. Hey, if I kill you, then the killer doesn't get to kill you. So that's win-win.
Exactly.
I win and he wins. You lose.
You lose because you died.
But I get to blame your death on the killer.
That's true.
No, yeah, I just go like, horror movies where you're fighting where they're up against a human being. I'm like, you can take this bitch.
Yeah, you can.
And like a lot of the times, and I don't know if this is just like I know they're like, oh no, but it's like an adult man and they're a teenage girl. I'm like, yeah, but surely in the year 2022 of our Lord Jesus Christ, Savior of the small, every female knows that men have it, no matter how big and tough, men have a singular weak point which is really, really, really easy to hit.
It's true. So if they're smart, they walk around with a cop.
That's how you know the murders.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's my thought on horror movies. It's also why I prefer horror games. Like, I think Resident Evil is a decent horror game.
Yeah.
Terrible acting for the first couple of games.
That's probably why I couldn't get behind them.
I hear the remakes are better. I haven't played any. I own all of them, but I haven't played any. Chris, it's like Dark Souls.
I'm aware.
It's like I own so many games I can possibly play them all.
But you could if you stopped buying and just only did that from now on.
Don't tell me what to do.
Look,
I'm my dad.
I wasn't telling you what to do. I was giving you a way to be able to play them all. Whether you'd use
Chris,
that...
new games come out all the time and I need to buy them. I don't want to use them. I just want to have them and hold them, and they will be mine.
And then maybe I'll play them.
Give me an idea.
Yes.
I should outsource my playing of games.
Damn.
I will pay an urchin 50 cents a day to play video games for me. Then tell me what happens.
Yes.
No, but like, I just go like, I really like Resident Evil because I guess I feel like they're not relying, especially like the first one. Okay, the first one is probably the best case scenario of this. The second one kind of plays into it a little bit, although I feel only a little bit, and that is the fact that we're not dealing with just some defenseless teenager who's running around in a bikini.
Yes.
With nothing to protect them, because everyone knows that bikinis are the least protective piece of clothing you can wear. Nothing says vulnerable more than bikini, except maybe silk lingerie.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so Resident Evil instead gives us like, it's a questionable, highly skilled police team.
Yes.
With weapons. And it's like, oh, they're in this situation. It's like, oh, so you actually can defend yourself, but it's just like, yeah, it's a bad situation.
You still put in rough situations.
So you feel like the situations are actually worse because it's like police people. They are trained to deal with situations. These are police people so good, they have their own squadron called the Special Tactics and Recon, I think is what they're called. Stars?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Special Tactics.
Nick, let us know.
Whatever stars means, that's what these guys are. They're elite. And they're in bad situations. So you're like, oh,
True.
These situations are bad. Like, I guess Resident Evil 2 kind of takes a little bit off that, because it's like, here's a rookie cop. But I feel like a rookie cop is probably better trained in firearms and stuff than most civilians.
Yeah,
Definitely here in Australia.
Yeah, that is correct.
So, you know, but like, yeah, so as the Resident Evil games fall less into horror and more into action, it kind of straddles that line, wandering left or right sometimes. You could say that the newer ones veer more towards the horror side, whereas the later ones, like 6 and 5, were definitely more action orientated.
Yeah.
And then 4 was kind of somewhere almost in the middle, yet slightly more actiony, but like, it was good.
Fair.
Can't wait for the remake of that. Gonna buy it, not playing.
So makes sense. I've done that with a few games.
Yeah. Okay, my problem is, right, and Nick, Lucan, I want you to, next time you see me, I want your opinion on this. I don't know where to start Resident Evil.
Fair point.
Do I start at Resident Evil 0,
Ooh.
which, because it's labelled 0,
You would assume it should be the
should
first
be
one.
becoming before 1, or do I start at Resident Evil 1, which is at the actual start? And I go, I'll start at 1, and then I load 1 and go, should I start at 0? Is that the starting point I should start? And then some people are like, start at 4, and I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's bad numbers.
It is. It really is.
But yeah, so I am looking forward to a Resident Evil 4 remake, so I can add that to my collection of games that I own yet have not played because of confusing numerical reasons in my own head.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Thanks, Kris. It's nice to know that you support me.
Yeah, no, like it's completely understandable. I see it and I'm just like, this is fucking stupid.
It's like that personal gripe I have whenever I go onto my Xbox list and it's like Gears of War, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War 4, Gears of War 5 is in front of Gears of War 1 and you're like, why numbers?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I hate it. I really hate it. Whenever I see that happen in my Xbox, I'm like...
It's an advantage PlayStation has. You can make your own folder and you put it where the fuck you want it.
But then you have to admit to owning a PlayStation, and that's pretty sad.
How is it sad? What if you own every console?
Dreamcast for life. No, yeah. Honestly, I was just, it's kind of, okay, it's, the one that actually gets me worse than that is both Assassin's Creed and Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider because it was like, Tomb Raider. Then Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one of them.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what the second one is. But none of them are even close to each other in the way that Xbox puts things together. And you're like, why can't they just be Tomb Raider? So that they're there, so I can look at them and go, oh, 1, 2, and 3. I'll play one of them.
It literally is Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. keep it fucking simple. Same spot. No. Had to make things fucking
Or,
different.
they could have just done Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Lara Croft, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So that way,
That
at
is
least
true,
there
because
would
it's
be
always
some...
Lara Croft. Yeah. Actually, isn't one of them called Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
I'll kill you. Oh yeah, there is one. There's an old one called that.
Yeah, which means that's in a different spot again.
I can't deal with it. But the other one is Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Because that is all over the place. I don't know if you've seen... Have you seen the new updates to the Xbox skins? They're all just black and gold.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen them and they've got different symbols on them, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that there is no actual order for Assassin's Creed.
Other than when it comes to...
The Desmond series.
well, yes, the Desmond series, yes, because that's...
1 through 4.
But they're not all numbered.
No.
Because Assassin's Creed 3 is not Desmond.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Assassin's Creed 4 isn't Desmond, but it uses Desmond's memory.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because it goes through the...
No, the one that you're thinking of that's not numbered is actually 2, which is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Yes.
Yes. No, but yeah, so...
And then Assassin's Creed, in comes Connor.
Mind you, Connor is Desmond.
Yes.
Yep.
Again, it's just that weird thing that it's named 3, but it's the 4th.
Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations. Right? Is this different to Assassin's Creed 2? Yes. No, what I don't like about it is, so the new ones are also a weird collection. They have the same person outside the Animus. From Origins to Valhalla.
Okay.
Layla.
Yes.
I don't know her story, but I haven't played much.
But they're all still by Square Enix, aren't they?
No, Ubisoft.
Because Square Enix had their hands in Origins.
Okay, but it's an Ubisoft game.
Yeah, I knew that, but it's like, did they have their hands in all of them?
I don't know.
Because
I can't answer that question.
I know in Origins they had multiple references to other games.
Okay.
Because, if you went outside when you weren't in the Animus, went to the car, there was a sticker of a chocobo on it.
Okay.
And if you went at a certain point, I think it was a certain time of the day as well, you'd see a meteor come down and crash somewhere.
Oh, right.
And it's actually the enemy from
Final Fantasy
15.
Yes, I don't know if that is so much Square Enix having their hand in it, or if it was two popular games using each other's popularity to advertise for each other. Because I think there's some Assassin's Creed stuff in Final Fantasy 15 as well.
Fuck,
I think I couldn't tell you. I haven't played enough Final Fantasy 15.
I would honestly have to. I don't recall seeing anything.
There might be.
Feel
free to correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure that came out a couple of years before
Maybe
Origins, though. So I
maybe
didn't think
it was.
they would.
Who knows? I as I said,
Actually, it might have been around the time they're actually bringing out the Royal Edition.
Might have been. I haven't played enough of the game to fully know.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point is, they've changed the symbols in the Xbox list.
Correct. Yes.
And there's just no order to them. And I find this weird saying because I went off Assassin's Creed at Black Flag.
I didn't even go to Black. I played.
I enjoyed all of them up to Black Flag. Like, don't get me wrong, still not a fan of Connor, but I actually really did enjoy number 3. I loved the world setting.
I did.
I loved the
enjoyed
fact
it as
that you
well.
could build the village that you lived at.
Yes.
And that gave you special weapons and stuff.
Yes, I enjoyed that as well. I didn't like the only part I didn't really like in 3 was ships. They
got better.
I understand they got better, but I never played Black Flag because I'm like, I don't really want to because it's not what I want out of an Assassin's Creed game.
Black Flag is a really good pirate game. Like really good pirate.
But
so Black
I'm
Flag
going
was...
into it expecting an Assassin's game, and I'm playing a Pirates game, so it's not where I wanted to go, so I didn't actually play.
It's probably one of the best since Ezio.
Okay.
I really didn't like... So I didn't even get Syndicate. I didn't get...
I played Syndicate.
Rogue.
I don't think Syndicate was too bad. I didn't get Rogue or...
I got Unity.
I didn't get Unity.
But only... I can't even remember this, but I'm pretty sure I literally only got it because it came with my Xbox.
Okay, that's fair.
So
I didn't I didn't play Unity either.
hang on, let me run through the list. So Syndicate, Revelations, Unity. Syndicate actually came after Unity.
Yes.
So what was the Revelations?
Revelations
came out
was
at the same time
that
as
was-
Unity. Revelations came out because Unity was next gen console. Revelations was last gen console.
Revelations was
Not
that's it.
Revelations. Damn it! The one where you play the Templar. Shit, I can't remember what it's
remember
called.
what it is.
Rogue.
Rogue. Okay, yeah, I didn't play Rogue.
Actually,
Did I?
So
No,
that
I don't
came out
think
for
I
the
did, but I saw bits and pieces.
so I didn't care about Rogue. I played Unity. Unity kind of, don't get me wrong. Again, I enjoyed it. I didn't have any of the game breaking bugs that other people had.
Okay.
Any.
Fair.
No faces disappearing. No nothing. I just got to the end of it, and I kind of went.
Yeah, that's fair.
I kind of missed the Desmond side of it because it gave the game meaning.
True, yes.
Like, other than that, like, don't get me wrong, there were lots of people out there who are like, the Desmond part was the worst part, and I'm like, I agree. They were the worst parts of the game. However, had they taken the later Assassin's Creed and removed the whole present part of them,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had an issue. But the fact that they kept it made me go, wow, I missed the Desmond part. I missed the Desmond of it all.
Okay, fair.
And I missed, like, the team and Desmond and the fact, like, I know they kept the team, but, like, I was like, I miss the Desmond part, because the Desmond part actually bound those stories together, whereas I feel that the later ones that they're like, hey, you just an animus boy, was kind of like, cool,
Thanks.
what's the point?
Yeah, I understand that.
So there was that side, and so after Unity I kind of went, not bothered. Syndicate came out, saw it and went, absolutely not bothered. Mainly because the time was like, they're like, oh, you got all these guns and stuff, and like,
So
I liked the
I
old school
kind of
weapons.
enjoyed Origins because I was like,
Origins came out.
yeah.
I went, I think I'm off Assassin's Creed. Like, I didn't care for it. I didn't want to play it.
My only thing at the time was like I was into more open world games at the time, so I was like, I'll give it a shot, and I didn't. It's definitely not at the top of my list. Definitely isn't. I did put a lot of hours into it though, and so I am so close to
Could
getting.
I say I think I was playing The Witcher 3 at that time.
I think you might have been.
So
there.
in terms of open world, I was just kind of like, I got this really good, super story heavy game.
Yes.
But yeah, AC watched Origins came out, and I was like, no.
Because yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. It was a complete change of how everything worked.
I absolutely hated it, and I still do. Don't get me wrong,
So,
I still do.
yeah. That's it.
That's one of the reasons I haven't played much into Valhalla, because
Yeah, it's
Odyssey did the thing where it let you put your attacks back onto the X and Y.
Yes.
Valhalla did a thing where it was like you can reprogram the buttons, but by doing that you actually fuck up a lot of stuff, because like the default settings can be like press this button and this button to do an action, or hold this button instead of tapping it. When you try and change those settings, you can't. So
okay.
it's like you can't say, I want this to be the action when I tap this button, and I want it to do a different action if I hold this button. So it's just kind of like luck of the draw what action you get when you press that button.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad. Have they fixed it? I don't know. I stopped playing Valhalla a while ago.
I played a small amount.
Did I
of
enjoy
it?
it? It wasn't bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad.
I prefer the old style.
I
prefer the older style.
I think the best one that I've played since 4 was Odyssey. I really loved that game. That was a great game.
Actually, no, sorry, I haven't played Valhalla at all. Odyssey I partially played, but I don't know, I think it might have been at a point where I wasn't really... Like, if I was playing games that were very small...
Okay, let me say this.
Like
I don't know what you did, but I chose
Probably.
Cassandra.
I think I went with the guy.
I've seen a lot of the Cassandra / Alexio's options,
Yeah.
and looking at it, I kind of
The
came
story
to
should
the
have
opinion
been
that
her.
they should not have given you the option.
Yeah.
It should have just been her.
I did hear that after I'd picked, and I'm like, I'm still going to go through it, but...
And like, actually think, I might be wrong. They might have made a change. I just know that there's a DLC later down the track where I was like, I'm not sure how they play it out, but they might just change the NPC from male to female depending on your choice of character.
Alright, fair.
But I played through it as Cassandra, and I was gonna go, okay, well, let's see. I think I went into it with the opinion of I'm going to play as, I'll do a run through on each.
Which is fair.
Because I was kind of like, I'll do a run through on each, see how it differs. Because I didn't actually realize how big the game was going to be. Like, it is a time consumer.
That was the thing they did with them. Like, one of the biggest issues I think with Origins was the time it took to get between areas. Like, even if you've got a horse, it's still slow. And that was when it came to the first game when playing as Altair. The issue I had was it was even slower with a horse, and it was like you couldn't really do much in those in between areas. At least with
all the in between area was for finding flags.
Yeah, and at which point, I think initially they didn't have a fast travel. You had to get to a certain point in the game before you would fast travel between places, and it was like, because what happened was...
I think when you chose the chapter as Altair, you actually got to choose where you started. So you could start in the city, outside the city you were supposed to be in. Or
yeah, but later in the game, if you wanted to just go back to another city, you could fast travel, but you had to get to a certain point in the game
first.
first.
Could you go back to the cities? Remember the first one was
sure
very chaptery.
I know it was very chaptery.
You would do a chapter and then you'd...
Because my issue was, I played the full first game, and I enjoyed the first game.
Mm.
However, once an issue happened with my old PS3, and I was like, I had to...
Classic PlayStation, am I right?
Yeah. I had to basically create a new account for starters, plus I had to do a full reset of the console.
Yeah. So
I ended up losing all of my save data.
I've had to do that.
And because
on my PlayStation,
yeah,
it sucked.
It does. Especially since I didn't...
Lost 128 hours.
I also didn't have...
In one game.
I know. I also didn't have a PSN account.
That game until I finished it again.
Yeah. I didn't have a PSN account, so because of that, I also lost all of my trophies and everything. So I'm like, I'll play all that. So I'm like, I'll restart the first Assassin's Creed game. But after I played all of the Ezio stuff and Connor, I went back to the first one, and I'm like, I can't. It's too slow compared to the other two.
Well, that's just... I think that's really funny because, like, if I'm being serious, I think other than maybe Brotherhood,
yeah,
the Ezio games really have no need for horses.
They don't. They don't. And
I think the only part I use a horse for in Assassin's Creed 2 is when you're moving around outside of Montenegro, the place where your uncle lives.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, there's stuff to find out in the countryside around it.
Yes.
I use a horse there.
Yeah.
If I'm in a city, I'm like, I'm using a horse. I'm running across top building
roofs. Well, yeah, and that was the same thing for the first one. But initially, I could have sworn initially you couldn't actually choose to start there because you had to talk to someone. I can't remember what they called the place. Let's call it a monastery for the fucking sake of it.
Yep. The Assassin's Home.
Yeah, the Assassin's Home. You had to start there because you needed to start all your missions there. So you go there, but it's like, okay, travel here. You need to do this. It's like, there's no fast travel option. It's a large distance, and the horse really isn't that much faster than walking. So it was the downside of, yes, it was still slightly faster, so you'd jump on the horse, but you'd spend, like, you're not searching for anything, but you'd still spend... There you go.
Yeah, actual real place.
Yeah. So you would, to get from there to the next place, it would take you, like, 10 minutes to do it, and I'm like, I'm not looking for the flags. If I want to do it, I'll do it at the end. But now, I just want to get to the next place.
I really didn't want to do those flags. I got to the point where I was like going to collect them, and I started to collect them, and I collected all the fucking feathers. Okay, I collected all the feathers.
Did I.
The flags, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think I did either. I don't think I collected
because I was just like, it's the world between the cities was just so dull. And let's be fair, Assassin's Creed 1 was actually really dull. I find it so hard, even to go back to Assassin's Creed 2.
I hate the fact that you're an assassin and they never taught you how to fucking swim.
Yes.
Fuck, that was annoying.
But like, I find it very hard to go back to those earlier games. I haven't gone back to 3 yet. I want to go back to 3 because of the remaster 3 that came out years ago that I haven't played yet.
I've been thinking of replaying them.
But I went back to 2, and there's just like, there's some missions in those earlier games where you're like, this is uninspired. And number 1 that was a bad one for it. Like, I can remember that it was like, do 3 of each mission. And so I was like, sit here, listen to them.
Yeah.
Blend in with this guy. Pickpocket from this guy. And I was like, going back to it after playing some of the other games, I'm like, that's a rough one.
It is. It is.
But yeah, no, my actual point about Assassin's Creed before we got carried away was that I came back to it at Odyssey.
Yeah.
Loved it and went, okay. I wasn't much for the other ones. Then I bought all the other ones, played a bit of Syndicate and went, wow, Syndicate's actually pretty good. I thought that bringing guns into it would make it too easy.
No, I wouldn't say so. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it as well. I did actually go through and platinum it. I actually fell asleep and platinumed it.
Nice.
That was actually a trophy.
The one for riding the train for 8 kilometers or whatever it was. 8
not,
miles.
Not the carriage.
Yes.
What happened was I fell asleep running towards a wall. The carriage actually never stops moving when it's running into a wall.
Oh.
I just woke up and I'm like, how long have I been in this wall? And I looked at it. I'd fallen asleep for like half an hour.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I got the trophy. And off it goes. Bye.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually enjoyed that. I own all the Assassin's Creed at the moment. Yeah, I just haven't had much. I kind of dislike the Avil, the way they did Avil. Like, so...
I don't know the name, so...
Avil was the main character of Valhalla.
Okay, fair.
I mean, so Bayek was like, you are Bayek.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey was like, you're one of these two.
Yes.
As I said, they never should have given you the opportunity. It really should have just been
Whereas
Cassandra.
Syndicate, you sort of swapped between the two?
Syndicate, you could swap between the twins at your choice,
but there
were reasons to do that. The twins are different characters.
Yes, they are.
Except for Jack the Ripper stuff, where you have to be Evie.
Yes. So I thought there was specific stuff where you had to be one.
Oh, there are specific missions where you have to be one of them because you're doing that person's mission, which is fair. As I said, I don't mind that. But I like the newer ones, yeah. So Cassandra or Alexandra or Alexio, can't remember if it's. I think it's just Alexio, but it might be Alexandria.
I can't remember.
I think it's Alexio.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. As I said, I really strongly feel they should have taken that option and just be like, seriously, play Cassandra. The story feels a lot better when you play her. And I don't think I've talked to anyone who's played it who played Cassandra who didn't go, this is a great game. And a lot of the people who were like, I didn't really feel it, played Alexio. And I'm like, I feel that the story fits better with the female character.
I will say I didn't get far enough in to worry about it. They also added a lot into the games that they didn't really need to.
True.
So what Revelations
added... I did enjoy it. I did enjoy like the actual... Especially from the like background that in Odyssey, you're not an assassin. You're literally just a mercenary. So I like the fighting battles and literally choosing your side and...
Oh, yeah.
The playing for power and all of that stuff.
Well, I can't remember if they continued of it. Revelations added the ability to send... other assassins or new assassins off to do other stuff.
Yep, so
and
that's
that would
like
level
in
them
4,
up.
you can send off your fleet to do trade and stuff.
It's like
I don't think Odyssey
it.
has anything like that.
I don't even think... No, I didn't... It was only in the earlier games. I can't remember whether... I can't remember if 3 had it or not. That was the only thing.
I think 3 might have had stuff to do with your homestead, but...
Yeah, which makes a bit more sense, and it's like that was to level up your the assassins so that you could actually use them a bit more. Because the whole thing about Revelations was being able to use the creed.
Brotherhood. Brotherhood really brought that in because you started to build up your own.
Yeah, but Revelations was the one that actually allowed the extra missions to send them off in. I'm pretty sure.
I would have to replay. But yeah,
it's been a long time.
But yeah, they added a lot that you didn't need, but I feel they kind of trimmed that down in the newer stuff, so that there's a lot to do, but not so much finicky stuff. Like management stuff, and
Yeah.
that's an advantage because you don't really want to do like management for an action game. But here's my problem with Valhalla. First of all, when you choose evil, they're like, you know how when they found Cassandra, they're like, oh, we don't know if the DNA is male or female. There's 2 sets of DNA, so it could be this one or this one, so you choose the story. It's kind of the same for evil, except you can change it any time you want.
Why?
I don't know.
That's...
It's kind of it's one of the elements that I was just like, I don't understand this. Like, what the hell?
Did it even change any abilities or anything?
No, it didn't do anything other than you look female or male, and I was like, is this for like the people that were like, oh, I started playing as Alexio, but then decided that after everyone said Cassandra was the choice, I had to go back and replay it all. And I'm like, okay, but again, Ubisoft, that was your mistake for just not going, just play her.
Yeah,
the story feels better as her. But yeah, I really just dislike that element of it. Like, you'll change character whenever, because it's like, you do it the first time as a novelty, and then you kind of go, kind of takes any actions I choose as Eivor away, because I can literally just, like even the very decision of choosing who Eivor is, I can back away and say, oh, I made the wrong choice, you know? And then secondly, I kind of missed the weapons and armor from the first two. Definitely from Odyssey. You know how Odyssey had like so many sets of armor and so many weapons, and it seemed ridiculous because like every fight you get something better than the stuff you're already wearing.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that because I liked making my person look however the fuck I felt. Like, 1 minute having them dressed up as like in like full heavy armor, and then the next having them like just in like light linen clothes and stuff, and being like, yeah, like, cool, I want you to have a cape, I want you to look like a mercenary, I want you to look like a full-on soldier, I want you to have the full helmets, I want you to have, you know... I really enjoy aspect of a game where you get to choose what they look like, and I just feel like Valhalla like really stepped back on that.
Yeah.
And then added in some of that management stuff we were talking about.
Yeah. As I said, the management stuff was something I wasn't too much of a fan of.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like in Valhalla there was a lot of times where I was doing stuff for the sake of doing it, not because I wanted to or because it advanced the story, but I was like, oh yeah, go do this favor for this person so that they'll tell you something. It's like, I'm a Viking.
Yeah.
Can I just not Vike them into telling me what I want to know?
True.
But yeah, so I bought all the Assassin's Creed after swearing off them. I've done the same with Call of Duty.
Yes.
I swore off them after Black Ops 2, I think. And I once again owned them all.
That would have been the last one I properly played.
And now I have all of them. Let me tell you though, I do enjoy Modern Warfare, and I will be buying the new Modern Warfare, so... And I will actually play that one. Because I do have time to play like a 10-hour story.
Yes.
But yeah, no,
I technically do. For some reason, I don't feel like I've got time for anything.
It's because you're dying.
I mean,
And on
maybe.
that cheery note, as always, less spooky. We got very sidetracked.
Very. But that's the point of these.
Yeah, mainly because me and Kris aren't really spooky dudes.
Not a lot scares us.
So I just feel like there's a logical answer for everything.
I agree.
And I don't fall into the trap of going, I can't explain it, therefore it must be paranormal. I fall into the very much belief of, guys, there's so much stuff we can't explain. As I said earlier, I live in Rockhampton. I see things daily that I can't explain.
It's true. It is very true.
Yeah, so, you know, when it comes to ghosts and stuff, I'm a full skeptic because you can't convince me that just because you can't explain it, it must be ghosts. That's crazy to me. It's like the logic of, hey, I don't know how gravity works, so it must be magic.
Yeah.
You know, I find it baffles me. It truly does.
And the whole shadow excuse, it could literally be something. Hey, I've never been here at this point of the day when the sun is that low and that tree way off in the distance that I never would have noticed. Just a way to create a shadow over here.
Oh, dude, let me tell you. Right, as we said, people don't tend to see ghosts directly.
No, it's generally
the brain can't be trusted.
It's generally peripheral vision, and that is 100% what I said earlier. You can't trust peripheral vision.
Dude, you can't trust your own brain.
No.
There's been a lot of studies into that, and those are actual scientific studies that have results that prove that years and years of telling yourself something changes how you actually remember it.
True.
So yeah, as I said, I don't believe in ghosts. Am I open to being changed? Yes, but it really has to be irrefutable proof.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It can't just be like something like, yeah, but I saw a ghost, because as I said,
if you can't show me the proof, there's
like show me the actual evidence. Just put a ghost in front of me where I can look at it and physically see it.
So I'd say we're both very much on the very logical side of, if I can't explain it, it just means there's stuff that I need to look into to be able to know, and then go, you know what, that explains that.
Tumors are scary.
They are.
Much scarier than ghosts, because they're real. And on that cheery note, as always, I've been Darcy. He has been Kris.
Yes, I have been.
And the reason that we had to film over 3 hours of audio was the fear turkey. Okay, guys, catch you later.
So.